What's up, guys? Nepenthes here, and welcome to another episode of an episode of Road to Ruinarandima. I've just been really feeling the cups right now, so I'm gonna try and win as many cups as possible whilst I'm enjoying playing them. As I mentioned many times, I don't really enjoy playing them, but yeah, for a change I am, so I'm going to keep going into them, trying to win as many packs and as many coins as possible. And I think that aspect is one of the biggest things for me that's really enjoyable, is the fact that EA have added the fact you can win packs and players from the tournaments, so that's pretty awesome. This is going to be another question time video where I ask for questions from you guys on Twitter, and you ask them and I answer them in a video format. Basically, today we're going to get through as many questions as possible. This is like a 12.5-minute video, and yeah, I'm just going to try and go in depth as possible as I can in the questions, and then come the end of the episode I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and I want to hear some feedback from you guys in the answer section, and some of the best answers from my questions will get featured in tomorrow's video. So with that being said, guys, I get the questions through on my phone because I can't see Twitter on my computer screen whilst recording this, because I have to have Final Cut open. So they come through on my phone different to how they come through on the computer. I don't understand why. So if I miss your question out, fear not. Just ask as often as you like every time I do question time. Eventually I will get around to answering your question, as long as you're within the time limit. So the first question is from Mr. Fingerball. It says, beasting on the end of your dick or suck off a man? That's pretty easy answer there. I'd definitely suck. I mean, I'd definitely, yeah, cool. I'd definitely like a beasting on the end of my knob rather than sucking off a man, unless it was Jack Brown, because he's a sexy man, although he's ginger. So that somewhat detracts from it. Nevertheless, Jack, you know where I am. The next question is from Jack Porter. Would you ever do a series when you would play with other YouTubers? Yes, I would, and yes, I have. Although you didn't answer that question. I've actually done some series with other YouTubers before. Weepeeler, Jack Attack 45, Air Japes, FIFA. I played a few games with Josh Flip once, but he had some problems with the sound recording, so they never got put up on YouTube. I'm sure I'm missing some people. Eldinero 90. I've done a considerable amount of work with other YouTubers, and I really enjoy working with other people. And with the King of Street tournament that you saw Sunday just gone, you're actually going to see me working with a lot of those guys involved. Every single week going forward. So it's going to be awesome for the FIFA community to have some of their favourite YouTubers playing against and with each other for the foreseeable future. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The next question. Thoughts on Southampton and their progress this season? I honestly don't have a clue, dude. I haven't really been keeping up on football that much this season. It's so strange and so weird, but the amount of time YouTube takes up for me, and my life in general takes up for me now, some things have gone by the wayside. Like, I used to play Football Manager a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean like a lot. You know, I used to play 6-7 hours a day of Football Manager, and in those instances I would know a lot more about football than I do now. But I haven't played Football Manager for ages, so I've not really been on the footballing scene for a while. In the sense that outside like some of the top divisions in Europe, I don't really pay much attention to football anymore, which is a shame. But that's how it is. Dennis P says, Rooney or Van Persie? I will take Van Persie every day of the week. Sean Shanahan says, who do you think will qualify from the Champions League from the British Premier League? Well, this season, Man United, Man City for sure. It looks like Arsenal for sure. Spurs now 4th place, but 5 points ahead of Chelsea, so they're still in a strong position as long as they get out of this slump, because they're in a really bad run of form right now. And they are, you know, a 90th minute equaliser from Van der Vaart today to save them the humiliation of defeat from Stoke. But as long as they pick themselves up in the next 3 or 4 games, then they'll most probably still get 4th or even 3rd. You know, 3rd's not guaranteed for Arsenal. They've only just moved back into the position. But yeah, I think the 4 that are in right now will be the 4 that will go on to go in. I definitely think Arsenal will come in the top 4 now. We've got no other cup competitions or anything like that, whereas some of the other clubs have. But you know, you never know with Chelsea. Chelsea could still nick it. But Liverpool and Newcastle have just lost all hope, especially with Liverpool's devastating defeat to QPR today. Daniel Scott Davies says, do you think it would be a mistake for Man United to sign Krasic and Hazard because they already have Valencia, Nani and Young? No, you know, Krasic, good player, not a world-class player in my opinion, so I don't think he's better than Valencia. But I do think as backup, Man United could do with a player like Krasic, because they don't really have many backup midfielders that are of top quality. You know, they used to have like just an incredible midfield, but just recently they've got a good midfield, and they definitely need to strengthen that area. Hazard is a world-class midfielder, and he would do well at any of the top clubs in Europe. And there was rumour of him last year going to Arsenal or Chelsea. He ended up not, but yeah, I think he'll do really well in the Premiership, and I think if Man United can sign him, I think that would be like, instead of Schneider, they might go for Hazard, because they're looking for Schneider, but yeah, who knows. gonna skip that question. Red Baron 36 says, how did you come about owning a pub, family business, self-run, etc.? Well, my granddad used to run pubs when he was my age and my dad's age, up until he was around 50, 55 years old. But he retired, but my dad was quite, sort of like grew into the family business there, so my dad took over my granddad's pubs and run pubs with my granddad, and I grew up and just kind of did the same thing, you know. I don't really know why, it just happened. When I was 18, 19, 20 years old, it wasn't something I intended on doing. I really wanted to get out of the pub trade. I didn't enjoy it, and it just wasn't very nice at all. But eventually, I don't know, you know, what I wanted to do was always to do with gaming or computers, and I just never really had that opportunity. Once I finished college, I decided to take a gap year instead of going to university. Moved to Spain, lived in Spain for a few months, and just ended up, not like, after a couple of months in Spain, just started losing interest there as well, and came back to work for the family business. And by the time I could have gone to uni, I was too caught up in family business stuff, and everything that I learned in college was completely irrelevant in the IT world. So it was just one of those things that I fell into. By the way, this guy that I'm playing now, we're in a tournament and he's got 3 bronze strikers. I don't understand. Like, it's a tournament, I can't see your team beforehand. He actually manages to score with one of them as well, but then he makes 3 substitutions. But yeah, that's how I came about owning a pub. Simply just working with my dad. We used to work for Green King, and then my dad bought his own company, or started his own company, and all went on from there, really. John Abruzzi says, Clint Dempsey or Gareth Bale, and why? Gareth Bale, because he is one of the best wingers in the world right now. Cornel Skadouche says, have you ever had a dream of becoming a footballer? If yes, did your family support you? Everybody dreams of becoming a footballer, I would say. Like, of course I would have loved to become a footballer. I used to play semi-professional football for a few years. It didn't work out for me, unfortunately. Believe it or not, an ingrown toenail was one of the biggest reasons as to why I stopped playing football. But yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have been a footballer. You know, who wouldn't? I talked about this when we talked about the salary and stuff, and who wouldn't want to earn 100 grand a week? You know, but for some footballers, obviously they struggle. They don't earn enough money. They can't pay their bills and stuff. But you know, if I was a top class footballer, I'd love that. We got Henry Burgess. What do you make of Stevenage getting back-to-back promotions 2 years in a row and drawing 0-0 to Spurs at home a few weeks ago? It's awesome. I love it when small clubs do that sort of stuff. Like, although Man City are in the position they're in now, I remember when they got promoted, I think 3 divisions in a row, and then got to like the then League One back then, because it used to go Premiership, League One, and there was no Championship, and they went from Division 3 to Division 1, and that's just, or maybe Division 4 to Division 1, because they got promoted 3 years in a row, and that's incredible. I love it when teams do that. I'm all for the little guy. You know, I'd love to see a team like Doncaster or something get promoted to the Premiership, just because, first of all, it'd be funny as hell to see them getting whipped every week, but secondly, it would be humongous for a club and for a town like that to be involved in a Premier League stage. Sam Hilton says pot noodle or super noodle. It would be a pot noodle for me. Daniel Eastman says, what's the most coins you have ever had at one time? Around 12 million is the answer there. Next question. Lee Smith, do you want more skills in FIFA 13? Yes and no. I want some more skills. I want more obvious skills. Like, I was playing clubs with Air Japes FIFA last night, and I want the ability to be able to just do a cushioned pass. It's not much to ask for, but I want the ability for the ball to come into me at pace or something, and for me to just kind of like let it hit my foot, but bounce back into the path of the runner, you know. And because I so many times last night, Japes would like pass it into me for a 1-2, and I just want to lay it back into his path so he could either shoot or pass again. And I had to press either through ball or pass, and it would end up just actually passing it, and that's not what I want, you know. So I'd like a lot more, just a lot more realistic skills. Just things like, it's kind of hard to explain, like silly touches, and I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's something that perhaps I'll discuss a bit more in detail in a single episode rather than as a question. Because I'd have to think about it and really have like write down what kind of things I'd definitely like to see and stuff. But that's a really good question. Next question, Dave Carr, where were you born? I was born in Canterbury in Kent. Favourite national team other than England? My favourite national team other than England is probably Brazil, just because Brazil are awesome. I love watching Brazil and they're awesome. That's pretty much it. This episode is coming to an end now though, guys. Jesus, that's gone quick. So I haven't asked you any questions. What I'll do is I'll put some questions in the description. But I thank you all very much for watching. If you could hit that like button, it would be amazing. If we could get back to 1,000 likes a video again, that would be awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Jizz. I definitely said jizz that time. Definitely. Or did I?